here, senior officers who are all here, including and more importantly, our veterans who are here. That is Governor, Comptroller, Commandant, Kinuthia, DC, PC, including, if you really have served your country to that level, you must be very proud of yourself. I hope you are writing a book, Mr. Kinuthia. Yeah. Mr. Shurie, who is here, also one of our veterans who are here again. And Commander Chief Kaitani, retired also, who are here, who are all veterans on that part, and the veterans on the side of the administration. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Good afternoon once again. First of all, you look very, for us who have been working with civilians, you look very scary. You know? It's until we see you people with a uniform is when we see the government is here. And sometimes when one of you visits me in the office, there's a day when I just reported the office, the IG came to see me. So when he was walking on the corridor, I was like, because he was wearing a suit and a tie. So I was like, but this guy looks familiar, who is this? So then I said, oh yeah, it's you, the IG. The uniform alone makes you have certain authority and an identity that cannot be forgotten. So I just want to start from here that you all look very good, and thank you very much for the very warm welcome that you've given me since I came to the ministry. Of course, starting with my friend, the PS. We are so lucky with PS Dr. Omolo for having been campus mates and together, being put together to work together and being friends for over 20 years and having a chance to work together in the same ministry. I hope that friendship will contribute to the teamwork that our veteran Shuria said about leadership in this sector. It's my pleasure joining you here as we launch the Administration Police Service Roadmap to Service Delivery Revitalization 2025 to 2028, and as we also launch the National Government Administration Police Unit, otherwise known as NGAP. I am also delighted to close the Senior Commanders Conference, which has been highly interactive and insightful. Through robust discussions on leadership, integrity, community policing, personal finance, among other themes, we have set the stage for all-round review of the progress we've made to inform the strategies of strengthening of our security and security systems. During this conference, under the theme, Transforming the Police to Meet Service Delivery Expectations, we have ignited a candid conversation on implementation of the police service roadmap to service delivery revitalization. The 2025 to 2028 roadmap outlines strategic objectives that the Administrative Police Service will implement in order to enhance its efficiency and operational effectiveness. It aligns Administration Police Service strategies to the current National Police Service Strategic Plan of 2024 to 2028, the recommended Maraga Task Force reforms in the strategic framework for the implementation of reforms in National Police Service, the Kenya Prison Service and the National Youth Service of 2024 again to 2028, and the broader national security agenda. The strategic objectives are to enhance professionalism and accountability, strengthen the operational preparedness and logistical capacity, promote public trust and confidence, improve welfare and motivation of officers, and support government efforts in mitigating climate change. The expected outcome include effectiveness of the Administration Police Service, motivated service personnel, improved operational preparedness and logistical capacity, close working relationship with members of the public, and adoption of environmentally friendly guidelines for the service. I commend the Administration Police Service for placing investment in technology infrastructure, equipment, and capacity to the core of this very important roadmap. In today's rapidly evolving digital landscape, many offenses and security threats are enabled by digital technology. The ability to detect, disrupt, deter, and investigate these threats depends on our capacity to operate effectively in a high-tech environment. I bring you an assurance from His Excellency the President that he is committed to supporting you and us together in the realization of these objectives and plans for this in this roadmap. I would also like to reassure you that we will work with your leadership to address issues around social welfare, training, better equipment, and other matters that concern a dignified working environment for you. Ladies and gentlemen, the government is fully cognizant of the fact that the Administration Police Service is an invaluable component of the security infrastructure in this country. Your contribution to the silencing of the guns in the North Rift and other parts of the country which have been prone to banditry is highly commendable. And I want to really commend you for the good job you did as Administration Police Service, together with your colleagues in the entire National Police Service. You have been extremely instrumental in dealing with issues of cattle rustling. We have had, instances of recurrence, of small recurrence here and there, but I'm very happy working together with the IG that we are dealing with these issues. And small bits of problems here, the other day in Samburu, yesterday in Elgeyo Marakwet, the other day in Baringo, but I am very confident that this is the last part of the work we are doing to make sure that we get rid of all these elements that have terrorized the citizens of this country for many years. And to demonstrate the work you've done and the effectiveness of this work is extremely encouraging. Even after the attack yesterday, a small area there in Kerio Valley, that it is the members of the public from both sides of communities that are giving us names of specific individuals. And they are saying, go for these individuals, because they have come to trust the police officers, and they have come to trust that we will work and make sure that we get rid of these problems. You have also been instrumental in our fight against the terrorism, stabilizing disturbed areas, and securing Kenya-Somalia border. The government applauds and appreciates your effort in this endeavor. The history of the Administration Police Service is long. It's been shared. People are emotional about it, especially when it comes to the relation as an Administration Police Service. I saw Anne really very carried over. I saw the national for Ms. Ngetich. She was comparing this reunion to twins coming together. But the chair of National Police Service was more graphic. He told us, this is so sweet. It's like somebody meeting their ex. Since I've not had that experience, I'll leave it at that with what the chairman has said. So therefore, this is extremely, we have a long, very interesting history. Despite its long history, the Administrative Police Service, you have continued to contribute to the socio-economic development of our country, and you have not gone out of tune in this endeavor. As our society evolved, the service reinvented itself to meet the demands of time. The colonial power enacted the Village Headman Ordinance in 1902 to help bring the so-called native areas under government control. That marked the path of the present Administrative Police Service. In 1929, the enactment of the Tribal Police Ordinance paved the way for training, command, and armament of the native police. But it was not until 1958, with the passing of the Administration Police Act, when its role in policing was defined and expanded. After the two at the 2007-2008 post-election violence was a major defining moment for our country and its security system. Both the Waki Commission report and the panel of eminent African personalities led by Kofi Annan recommended a comprehensive reform of our policing. It's against this background that our third president, President Mwai Kibaki, formed the National Task Force on Police Reforms in the year 2009, also known as the Ransley Committee. The Ransley report concurred with the Waki report and on the need for far-reaching reforms in the police service to enhance operational capacity and accountability. In order to create a more professional, accountable, and public trusting police service, the task force recommended the enhancement of police accountability and transparency through the establishment of the Independent Police Oversight Authority, improving police training and working conditions, and implementing a robust community policing strategy to foster a better relationship with the people. The recommendations informed the establishment of the remodeling of the administration police service under the Constitution of Kenya, Article 243, 2B in 2010. There have been numerous security sector reforms since the promulgation of that constitution, including the 2018 restructuring of the National Police Service and implementation of the recommendation of now ongoing recommendations and implementation of Maraka Task Force report. Some of the reforms that were informed by the Maraka report carried out under the leadership of my predecessor, His Excellency the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, and the PS here, Dr. Raymond Omolo, including the ongoing digitization of the police operations and salary increment of the lower cadre of officers of up to 20% effected last year, July. An additional 10% increment is also set to take place this year. The police service will also receive 3,000 new vehicles this year in order to improve their working conditions. And this will not only go to the police service. We are going to do it together. In fact, His Excellency the President, before I came here, said that he's working on increasing the vehicles to be 5,000 because we must take care of the Ngao officers up to the lower level. The police service and so will be receiving the same, including also improving the working conditions through the investment on new equipment within the next 2 years. The Maraka Task Force report also recommended the establishment of structure through regional, county, police division, sub-county, and locational formations to ensure that the National Police Service supports the national government administration in the performance of its security functions through deployment of general duty officer with clear command and reporting structures. Today, we are launching the National Government Administration Police Unit Ngapu to fill the gap in our security setup pursuant to Section 10H of the National Police Service Act of 2011. The main role of this unit is to support government agencies in enforcing their administrative functions, especially in conflict management and peace building. This unit will go a long way in supporting the national government administration officers across all administrative units in the country to enforce government directives, effect policies, and in maintaining law and order. The unit will especially come in useful when GAOs are engaged in such duties as settling land disputes, managing intercommunal conflict, and in fighting alcohol and substance abuse. The work of this unit is cut out. There is an immediate need to support other security organs in confronting security challenges threatening law and order. And maybe just to emphasize this, I was, over Christmas, I was at home with my chief, and the chiefs of the neighboring, within the division came to visit. And one of the things that they really graphically, and I was asking them because where I live there is a den of Changa at some corner. So I was asking the chief, why are you unable to deal with this issue? You know, why are you totally unable? So she tells me, first of all, we don't have a police station around here. So the police station is a bit far. The administrative units are such that we are still working on bringing them closer. But number two told me that even if I wanted to deal with this den of Changa, how will I do it? I live here and I do not have the capacity to be able to do this. The police station is far, the police officers are strained in the work they do. So he says, she told me, her and the pastor around, they have just become preachers. They just preach to people without the ability to, and the teeth to bite. So this kind of support is extremely important. And in some cases, you know, the police officers, the chiefs and assistant chiefs have been attacked. We all know that in conflict-prone areas and where people have land-related conflicts, if the chief does not have the capacity and the ability and the team to work together, they will not be able to deal with such situations. And again, by the time you are mobilizing police officers who are also trained in other work to come all the way to that locality to help, it becomes extremely difficult. And therefore, I think that this is extremely important. And we want to thank His Excellency the President for giving this direction and making sure that, and for the leadership which was in the ministry before, led by the Deputy President and the PS here, for having moved in very fast to implement that presidential directive to make sure that we have this unit established. I thank you, IG and the DIG and the team, for actually making this possible. This is extremely transformative. It is really transformative. And I want to say we truly support. I was thinking, IG, that in line with this kind of transformation, I think we need to find also a place for the NPR around this concept, the NPR officers. We want all the NPRs across the country to be able to have clarity of command in terms of the persons they are going to report to. And I think this is the place that they are going to report to. And that is extremely also important for us. I think, has it gone off or something? Yeah, you will help me, Muthoni. So that is really what is extremely important for us as a ministry. If we do not reorganize the NPR, because they live within the community with the police, we need to find a way they will be directly linked to this unit that has been established. And I want you to think through around this issue to see how they can be held accountable. Thank you, IG. Thank you very much. You know, I speak from experience. You know that. As a person from Kerio Valley region, this is a consistent daily conversation that we are dealing with. Let me use this opportunity also to raise an issue that the IG you have mentioned. We have also noted with deep concern a surge in criminal gangs that are mostly financed by politicians to intimidate, harass, and suppress their opponents. These gangs are armed with weapons such as crude weapons. And such gangs are now providing in court security to leaders as they terrorize opponents in a show of might. This is beside mobilization and unleashing of what they call keyboard gangs to discredit and tarnish the image of other leaders in social media. It's worrying that instead of complementing the government in creating more jobs, opportunities, and other socio-economic empowerment initiatives for employed youth, some leaders are focused on creating mayhem through criminal gangs in pursuit for power. They are sowing seeds of discord and disharmony in total disregard of the rule of law. The country has faced persistent threats of organized criminal gangs that have sprouted across the country, specifically in urban areas or densely populated settlements, taking advantage of unemployed youth. Organized criminal gangs threaten our security and socio-economic progress by, among other ways, robbing our youth of their future by placing them on collision path with the law. These gangs are involved in murders, robbery, land grabbing, cyber crimes, illegal levies on public service transport, extortion, muggings, illegal oathing, illegal water and electricity connections. On the other hand, our cross-border gangs are a threat to our safety and security. They are undermining our socio-economic transformation initiative by engaging in transnational crimes, including human trafficking, drug trafficking, smuggling of goods, among others. Some of these gangs, we know them. We know that in Nairobi, though we have worked very hard to suppress them, we have characters like Team Kazo, Jeshi la Ala, operating in areas like Kamkunji and Starehe. We have gangs like Taliban and Kibrat J10. We have in this coast area, and I thank you for the good job you are doing, dealing with what they call themselves Team Mashamba, Tianazi, Wakali Kwanza, Wajukuu Wanyanya, Panga Boys, and many others. In eastern part of the country, you have Gaza gang in areas like Matungulu and Lemi gang. In central, we have a resurgence of Mungiki. And then in some parts of the country, like Rift Valley, you have some called Koita in Uasin Gishu, Mauki, Watizedi in Nakuru, Mauki and Watizedi in Nakuru, Wafaransa in Nakuru. In Nyanza, the names become even more interesting, with names such as Mbogi, SWAT gangs. In other parts of Kisii, like Sungusungu, Chingororo, Amachuma. In western part of the country, characters like Angola Msumbiji, 40 brothers in Emuhaya, Ebusakami, and Maseno areas, and Spartan and Bulunda boys in Busia. In northeastern part of the country, you have some characters called Loma Ayan, and in Trans Nzoia, you have characters like 17 brothers, Mboki Mawe, and Team Russia, among others. Now, I've done this deliberately because though these gangs have been suppressed over time, we all know what happens when we are closer to elections. And when leaders are preparing, leaders, or let me say, I was avoiding to watch what politicians, but let me say leaders. I've been one before. Allow me to demonstrate the negative impact of these organized criminal groups in the case of Mungiki and Sungusungu gangs. Mungiki, for example, we all know remains one of the dreaded homegrown gangs in Kenya, yet it started innocuously in the late 1980s as a religious movement to promote traditional values. At the height of its malignancy in the early 2000s, it levied taxes in areas like Mathare, controlled matatus in Nairobi, Nakuru, and parts of central Kenya. They charged protection fees on businesses, enforced dress code on women, carried out open mass oathing, raped women and girls, banned matatus that refused to pay them, beheaded defectors, rival gang members, and those opposed to their activities, terrorizing communities, forcefully circumcised people, among other ills. Clashes with the police were rampant. Thousands of youth were members of this group in 2000 until around 2010. Individuals and communities are still scared from these criminal activities and group. Many youth wasted valuable time, leaving a legacy of unemployment, imprisonment, mental health challenges, and despondency. Sungusungu gang started as a community policing initiative in the early 2000s, but slowly morphed into a criminal gang. It perpetrated many human rights abuses, including assaults, public execution of crime suspects, setting alight older people they termed witches, and charging protection fees. The horrors of Mungiki and Sungusungu gangs must spur us to nip any criminal gang in the bud with resolve and vigor. To achieve that, we must enhance the intelligence gathering, carry out awareness campaigns against the membership to this organization, prosecute members and financiers, in addition to establishing more security presence in the affected areas. Kenya is a democracy where fair competition for position is guaranteed in law. Using gangs to gain undue advantage on the ballot runs counter to democratic ideals and leads to violence and bloodshed. It was out of such criminal gangs and incitement from politicians that our country plunged into chaos in 2007-2008. I have issued instructions to the Inspector General of Police to work tirelessly to make sure they track, crack down, and dismantle these criminal gangs with immediate effect. Public servants, including Ngao and police officers who will be found abetting these crimes, will be sacked and charged. On the other hand, politicians or financing or benefiting from the activities of these gangs are equally culpable. Irrespective of the office they hold or social status, we will prosecute them. I call upon the police to carry out thorough investigations to secure their conviction. We must act swiftly and decisively against these gangs because history has taught us that the price of doing nothing is catastrophic. I wanted to use the occasion to really tell you this because the other day I passed through Kitale a few months ago, and DIG Masengeli, you come from that region. Yeah, thank you very much. Kitale is not the Kitale, the place I schooled. You know, a small meeting, even a funeral. A family is preparing to bury their loved one. And suddenly, because one politician has come with his own gangs, another one comes with their gangs, there is fight in a funeral, family members are scattered, you know, they cannot bury their loved ones. And so, we cannot live in such a country. It's not possible. It is absolutely not possible. If you are unable to persuade the people of Kenya to vote for you, we will not help you by looking the other way to enable you to create criminal gangs to terrorize your opponents and terrorize innocent civilians. I think IG, going to these next elections, and as we prepare for the same, it's important from the word go to make sure that we have a country that is a country of order. Thank you, IG. There is also the disease of provocative talk and ethnic profiling that is disguised as criticism of the government and political opponents. This will not be tolerated. As an administration, we are open to constructive criticism, including myself and the ministry, on service delivery. Indeed, it is the right of citizens to hold us accountable. This criticism, however, comes with a burden of responsibility. We cannot afford ethnic or other form of violence, maskers holding leaders into account. The government will bring the full force of the law to bear on anyone talking negative ethnic sentiments. Mumenisikia hiyo kweli? I don't want you to fear anybody. I announced to the country that once I came to this ministry, behold, the old is gone, the new has come. You know that I can now not behave like an ordinary civilian. I have responsibility in terms of my association, my conduct, my utterances, and so it is important for all of us sitting here to be completely impartial in dealing with cases and utterances that may lead to ethnic tension. The idea that when a politician stands on a podium, instead of criticizing a public servant for who he or she is and for what she or he is unable to do, they start saying, oh, so and so, his community. How is my community related to my competence or incompetence? It's important for leaders to focus on the individual. The individual as a person, criticize them for who they are, fault their performances, and deal with it instead of lumping together an entire community and try to create provocation, especially in parts that in the past have had issues with ethnic provocative words that come from leaders. I wish to remind all leaders on the provisions of the Constitution and our laws, which include the NCIC Act, the Penal Code, the Prevention of Organized Crimes Act, the Cyber Crimes Act, the Proceeds of Crimes and Anti-Money Laundering Act, the Counter-Terrorism and Prevention of Organized Crimes Act, and the Prevention of Terrorism Act. All these acts, we will invoke all of them whenever necessary to make sure that we bring all these menaces to a stop. As a ministry, we call on all citizens to abide by the law in their exercise of freedom of expression and other rights and to be fully aware of the interface between their rights, responsibilities, and the rights of others. Article 37 of the Constitution grants citizens the right to protest and picket on condition that they are peaceful and unarmed. As a government, we will always protect the enjoyment of this right on all other civil liberties provided for in our Constitution. I wish also to make it clear that we shall protect and defend our police officers from criminals and thugs purporting to be exercising their democratic rights through protests. Any Kenyan protesting in the streets of our towns and cities or in the villages while armed with stones, clubs, or pangas are putting our law enforcement officers and law-abiding citizens in danger. Appropriate force will be used to contain them and restore law and order. Physical attacks on our security personnel leading to injuries and even death erodes the trust and confidence the citizenry have on our officers. We will therefore not spare any effort to protect the safety and the authority of our police officers. There is no way anybody would have been protesting peacefully, then cut the hand of a police officer. There is no way. That is not a protest. That someone was protesting and stoned a police officer to death. By the time we see you coming with a gun or a machete, with a gun, a stone, or a machete, or any other weapon, we already know you are not a protester. You are a criminal. And the respective force must be used to protect. And we will defend our police officers as they use that force to deal with criminals. We will defend them in the land, we will defend them in the sea, we will defend them in air, and we will defend them in courts. We will not allow criminals to roam around our cities and towns and pretend to be exercising their civil liberties, when indeed they are criminals who have been hired and they are part of the gangs I talked about, ready to be deployed by political leaders to pretend to be joining citizens who may have genuine grievances, but infiltrating those groups to cause mayhem and harm. We are not going to allow that, and we will defend our officers because they defend us. The reason why we are sleeping in our houses is because these police officers are putting their lives in danger. We will also be ready, and as a cabinet secretary, I'm ready to defend them to make sure that our country is safe and our police officers are safe. As a government, we cannot deny that there could be a few rogue elements in the service who may abuse power or engage in criminal activities. The reforms in our security sector have provided effective safeguards against such excesses and abuse. The Internal Affairs Unit, established under Section 87 of the National Police Service Act, receives and investigates complaints against police officers and plays a crucial role in enhancing accountability. The Independent Policing Oversight Authority has also helped in implementing its mandate to raise the standards of discipline and professionalism in the police service. With this level of oversight, our police service will certainly get better and better. As we work to promote good governance and the rule of law, the police are instructed to only use legal and legitimate ways of dealing with criminals as provided for by the Constitution and other regional and international instruments. And as such, in protection of our police officers, I want to say this, IG, that I appreciate the reforms, and thank you, PS, and the team that have been working on the draft bill on veterans. All over the world, people look after their veterans. Because if you take care of your veterans, you motivate those who are serving. Because they know that if they serve with vigor and commitment, they are not just being thrown away and said, you are retired, forget about you. They have a way of taking care of the veteran officers because of the sacrifice they make. We are going to make sure that this law for dealing with the veterans is very clear, giving them opportunities, giving priority to people who have served before and they are in retirement. In case we need them in boards of agencies of government, we need them for assignments, we need them for task forces, for example, to inform those who are serving. We need them for training. We'll make sure that that's clearly provided for and prioritized for our veterans that are serving. Every part of the world have their own veterans. For us, as a progressive democracy, we must work to make sure that our veterans are taken care of. Number two is that in the housing agenda, in the housing project of government, we have made sure that the government has made sure that the National Police Service will be part and will be beneficiaries. Our officers will be beneficiaries of this program by making sure that we modernize our police stations and areas where our police officers live. We will be following up on this issue to make sure that a dedicated resources from this fund is going to assist us to have better living conditions for our police. The other issue that we must continue improving is the community policing. We want to make sure that even as we get these police officers to work with administrative units, we believe that this is one way of making sure that the community policing will be enhanced, because these men and women will be living among the community. This is an initiative we want to support, not to change the image of the police, because in the past we were being told we just want to change the image. You know, change the image looks like whitewashing. We just want to really change the police. You know, not just the image, but how we operate, how we interact, how we work together with the community, because if we work closer with the community, we are going to ensure that this issue is moved forward. I know IG, everybody here was waiting to hear from you about your the current reforms, but also the current promotion of our police officers. First, I want to thank you for, there's a lot of work to be done to promote our police officers. Some have stayed for 20, almost are going for retirement, somebody 20, 30 years without proper promotion. And I thank the chair of the National Police Service Commission, the Commission, for making sure that you work together closely to facilitate promotion of our officers. And the frequency of that promotion has really improved. And many of the officers are appreciating, they have now hope that they will be, you know, at some point they will be reached in terms of that promotion. And that is really commendable. And I sympathize with you because, and I sympathize also with the Chief Justice. I saw the Chief Justice had complained yesterday about the promotion of our police officers who are tied to her and subsequent movement to go for training. I think that this has also happened to me before, where I write many letters to you and say, oh, please promote this officer. They have worked with me for a long time. When they are promoted, unknown to me, they are supposed to go for training. So after the promotion, I saw the officer tied to me came to me and said, sir, now I'm reporting for training. So I said, but who do I remain with? And we had to work out to see how we are going to work together. Unfortunately, our Chief Justice went too public about this issue, and I want to assure you that I have excellent relationship with the Chief. I think I have a good relationship with the Chief Justice, unless on her side she has an issue. I have never had an issue with the Chief Justice. The IG has never had an issue with the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice is one of the most, for the comfort of the country, the Chief Justice is among public officers who are properly taken care of in terms of her security. I know the manual says that she is entitled to 6 police officers as her bodyguards, but the Chief Justice has been given up to 32 police officers. And of the 32, only the ones who are promoted and called to go for training were 3 of them. She was concerned about 2 of our officers attached to her and the driver. And we, unfortunately, that misunderstanding, the IG thought he was doing a favor to the officers who are working with the Chief Justice by promoting them. It appears now that same favor has hit the IG hard. Ordinarily, the Chief Justice should have called the IG to say thank you very much for promoting my officers. But unfortunately, it has gone the other way. We want to assure the Chief Justice that that was a small matter. It didn't necessitate raising alarm. People now think all over the world that there is a scheme somewhere to deny the Chief Justice security for the benefit of the country. Even after the 3 officers were being sent for training, The Chief Justice was still going to remain with about 29 officers from different kind of guarding her home, being with her. The ones up to almost 7 drivers who are police officers, among others. And that misunderstanding did not require the kind of attention that was given yesterday in the media. The Chief Justice, I confirmed, called me yesterday, and I told the Chief Justice that I was going to look into this issue and get clarification from the IG. And as a matter of fact, I told the Chief Justice that I was going to be sitting today with the IG here and the DIGs to understand what was happening. And before I could before even I called the IG, the Chief Justice also called the IG, and all of us said, okay, we are going to see how to continue promoting our officers, how the IG will promote the officers, at the same time continue with the remaining officers working with the Chief Justice. Unfortunately, even as I thought we sorted this issue, she never came back to me. I only saw a letter which is supposed to be my letter. I saw in the news with everybody. And I think that such a condition should not happen, especially for us who know what it means to work together. I call upon our Chief Justice to allow us to work together as a team. And we are ready as a ministry to work and facilitate the entire cadre of public officers to make sure that they are taken full care of, and to ensure that we do not discuss issues of welfare of the Chief Justice in this manner. It's not supposed to be like this. In fact, I have really hesitated to respond. But you see, because the public think that maybe there was a scheme, I need to notify the country that there is no scheme, there was no reason, there is no motive. You just don't wake up one morning and say, you know, I want to do this. It's just that the officers are extremely excited that they were going to be promoted. Now I don't know what will happen if we return them and tell them now, awaiting the Chief Justice directions, you wait for your promotions. I don't know what will happen. I think we need to work together. We need to work together. We need to work together as a team and take good care of the people that work with us. To be very honest, I also fight very hard with the IG, telling him, can you promote the people I work with a little bit? So I also make the same request that the Chief Justice makes, and all many other officers make this, MPs make this request all the time. Senior people make this request. Because if you stayed with somebody for 10 years, 15, and they are still in the same rank, it's also your duty to look after them and their welfare. These things we are talking about here, about welfare of small people or junior officers we work with, is extremely important and reflects in a certain way on ourselves as a senior officers. And I think there is, for the benefit of the country, you can see even my face, there is no reason. We have not wronged each other with the Chief Justice. There is no cause, there is no issue. I just want to tell the Chief Justice that you are safe, and the National Police Service can assure you that the protection of the Chief Justice and all our judges is guaranteed as per the Constitution. I don't know now if I still have to write a letter to respond to the letter of the Chief Justice, or this is enough, I don't know, but we'll see what to do that. Kwa hivyo, I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much for the good job you are doing. I look forward to a fantastic tour of duty working with you. I look forward to meeting Gao team again with a plan to see how we will continue together in what is government delivery and working together with the delivery unit of government to see that you are active on the ground in making sure that government policies are implemented on the ground. We want to see you as active as it were in every part of our country. And I believe that the energy you have and the energy the peers has and the energy I have and the committee and everybody here is going to be of great benefit to the country. So we are going to be having greater and more engagements with you. And even those who are retiring like Anne, we will continue tapping into your experiences and ensure that you continue contributing to our country. It is now my greatest pleasure to do 3 things. Is it 3 things? One is to first, the first part of it is to launch the administration police service roadmap for service delivery and revitalization. And 2, okay, tupigie hiyo makofi kwanza. Yeah, and second, to launch the National Government Police Unit officially. to make sure that long lost twins come together or the exes come together. And the third is to make sure that I officially close the conference that our National Police Administration Police Service Senior Officers Conference is now officially closed. Bas, asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki. Thank you very much.
We are unfailing. Unfailing. Aya. Unveiling.
Mheshimiwa Waziri, mabibi na mabwana, sasa imefika ile hatma ambayo tulikuwa tunisubiri, kuzinduliwa rasmi kwa documents mbili. Kwanza ni ya National Government Administration Police Unit na ya pili ni revitalization of AP service roadmap ambayo waziri na umati wote umekuja kushuhudia. Na kwa 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 zindua waziri. Asante Mheshimiwa Waziri, na hapo tunajionea hizi mbili roadmap hiyo hapo ikiwa iko na urembo wote, imenakshiwa na vile vile kikundi cha Ngapu National Police AP Unit kikiwa pia kimezinduliwa rasmi sasa. Vile vile Mheshimiwa Waziri akiweza kukabidhiwa vitabu viwili hivi vinavyoashiria watu wa picha tuko. Haya.